boy, the Crash Bandicoot series was so great in its early years. A sense of comedy with every death and an antagonist that had a fine mix of evil menace and a Dr. Wily-like cowardice when in the face of defeat. It also had great graphics, addictive gameplay, cunning secrets, and that just awesome to listen to music. The original series plus the racing game has won the hearts of many over the years. However, the third game is a bit like the black sheep of the flock. Although you might not think it's the case when looking at the box art. I mean, look at it. It's got a motorcycle, a sphinx in the background, a ball of teleporting goodness, and a bazooka that fires Wampa fruit. I mean, how can you go wrong? The story starts out with the Cortex Vortex from the end of the second game crashing into some sort of ancient temple. Releasing something dark and menacing, speaking in a dark and menacing voice.
Free at last.
Plot device! The scene cuts to Crash and Co, who are having a lovely day. Crash is doing his yo-yo tricks, Coco's on her laptop, and Aku is just floating about. When he hears that menacing voice.
Uka-Uka is free. No, it cannot be.
He hurries them into the house and explains that his evil brother, Uka-Uka, is free. A force more menacing than anything else in the world. Uka-Uka is just Aku backwards. Real creative, guys. It then cuts to show Dr. Neo Cortex, leaning in front of Uka-Uka, trying to explain why he hasn't taken over the world yet.
Inside my temple prison, I sent you simple instructions to follow, but you...
I'm sorry, but when did Cortex have a boss? I mean, isn't he like the bad guy, the head of the evil corporation in this universe? No, this simply must be a mistake. This must be a misunderstanding, if you will. I know, I'll look into the instruction booklet. They always explain the story better there anyway.
Into the vortex.
Since when was it mentioned? In any of the past games, that Uka-Uka was telling Cortex what to do. This is like my two worst pet peeves of gaming here. Just look! Do you see Uka-Uka anywhere telling Cortex how to execute his plans of menace? I sure don't. In the first two games, all we saw was Cortex, being that evil scientist he was. You got to beat him up and feel immense pleasure of taking down an evil genius and his carefully calculated plans. You can at least admire he did all of this stuff, but as long as you can admire how great he is, you can admire your own skills even more for taking down his henchmen and stopping his evil plans. How can you just suddenly say that none of that were Cortex's own accords? Are you seriously trying to tell me that Uka-Uka was the one that told him he should try to take over the world in the first place? It takes all the admiration and satisfaction out of this guy because he's not really the one behind it all. Uka-Uka is. I should be beating up him. But there was nothing to indicate his arrival until this game. And now the humble witch doctor Aku has suddenly become the supreme deity of everything that is good. I mean, how much more blatantly obvious can it get that they ran out of ideas already? Okay, we have 3 months planning and we need to think of a new evil villain. Any ideas? Evil. Okay, job done. Consistency, people! This is not Rayman moving on to Rayman 2. Anyway, Uka-Uka makes a devious plan to trick Crash and Co to retrieve the crystals from them. From their original positions in time, no less. This is where Entropy comes in and makes the time twister!
Children, Uka-Uka and
Well, Crash, I had no idea you could find a time twister so easily, without any explanation. Resisting urge, rampage, consistency.
Before they do so, to open the time.
Anyway, the aim of the game is to collect every crystal in the game. After you collect 5 crystals, you get to face a unique boss. Defeating that boss will get you a power-up and access to the next world. Despite the decoration around these worlds, you don't actually have any connection between the theme and the levels themselves. Break all the crates in a level and you'll be awarded a gem. Sometimes there are 2 gems per level, and they can only be obtained by using coloured gem platform, which in turn can only be obtained if you can make it through a death platform stage, which in turn you can only use if you can make it through to that spot without dying. The graphics are utterly amazing. The visuals are bright and entertaining, and each of the animations are, as many of the PS6 games are, smooth and lag-free, to my utmost delight. The enemies, however, seem to be a bit uncreative. About half are the same robot enemies that just wear slightly different disguises, whilst the other half are slightly different enemies. Although these graphics seem to be copying from real world places, and as much as I would like to see different locations of the Crash universe that the first and second game offered instead of the lazy aspect of putting Crash into the real world, I still really love these graphics. Just look at all this mystery! I also find it amusing that most of the sites have Cortex's face on in one form or another. That's pretty entertaining, and it makes the world feel more Crash-like. The bosses are pretty neat. The difficulty consistencies of these bosses are a little off though. The first two are pretty tricky, while the third, although awesome, was really easy. The design and structure of these bosses are really creative though, each one taking a different twist on how to defeat it, without having to rely on the power-up you just collected on the last boss. I would have thought power-ups in a Crash game wouldn't work out, but I was thankfully wrong. However, I find the double jump a little disappointing. Often, I use a slide jump because it's generally quicker, but after the second jump, all of that momentum is gone. Other than that, apart from the super body slam, all of the other power-ups are fun to use. I could describe the music in this game in one word: Oriental. It's great how the music matches the style of the countries and the surroundings. It's either catchy, atmospheric to the level's theme, or helps you immerse yourself into the game. It blends in well with the background, and even has a variety in the bonus rounds. It plays the same tune for every bonus stage, but it plays it in a different style depending on the theme of the level. That's a really nice touch for keeping something that could be annoying and repetitive and turning it into something fresher and making it last longer. My only complaint is that the sound effects are a little loud in proportion to the music in the background. The game controls very well. It's practically unchanged since the first game. However, this game also includes planes, motorbikes, speedboats and even tigers to control, all of which are fun to use. These things do get just a tad annoying and tedious near the end, but at least they didn't overdo it. Just about. This was also one of the earlier games to allow the analog controller to be used. Although not remarkable, what was remarkable about it was the humour at the back of the instruction booklet relating to it. Compatible with Crash's motorbike, and a jet ski, and the biplane. Oh, and it's tiger compatible too! I miss stuff like that. Throughout the game is this humour, and more famously, the deaths. Nearly every death is unique to the situation, unlike the first game, which had half of them at black screen was spinning death. These deaths are creative, and a fair few of them have Crash losing his shorts. I don't know why that is. Overall, I give this game an 8.8 out of 10. The only really disappointing parts about this game are the plot devices and the fact that this game isn't really set in the Crash universe, which I've already explained before. Everything else is finely crafted. It's not the best PSX game, but it's certainly up there. It's a fun game to play, and although it lasts a little short for my liking, it still offers enough time to make it worth anyone's money. Although this game is the easiest of the three, I would recommend that you play the first two Crash Bandicoot games first. Did you enjoy my review of Crash Bandicoot 3? Well, if you did, then leave a comment or a like. They're always much appreciated and I'll love you for it. Bye!